Welcome to the Yacht Club Bocce Courts. In this video, we hope to give you a good description of play, the object of play, the rules, our scoreboard, who can play, how many can play, when you can play, and what to do when you're finished playing. The game of bocce can be played with one, two-person teams, four-person teams, and on occasion, if you have to, with three-person teams. The game is played with 4 balls on each team, the red team and the green team. We use a small object ball called a palina. To start the game, a coin is first tossed, and then the palina is tossed. The Isles Yacht Club courts have standard markings. Let me explain. First, we have the pointing line. This is the line you initially throw the palina from, and generally, this is the line you'll use to throw your either large red or green ball. Mike here is standing by the hitting line. The hitting line is occasionally used by a player when he intends to knock the other team's ball out of the way, which is called hitting or spocking. When players decide to use the hitting line, they must notify the other team and also the referee. In addition to these two lines, we refer to the very backboard as simply the backboard and the sideboards as the sideboards. The last marking on the court we haven't discussed is the center line. This will again become important when we describe the rules of play, because on the initial throw out, the palina must come beyond the center line. Here we have Carol illustrating the basic throw, whether it be the palina or the large bocce balls. Notice Carol, with her left foot forward, puts her left hand on her left knee. She has her back of her hand facing down, palm up. She takes the ball straight back, looks at the object ball, and throws.
Heads.
To start the game, a simple coin toss is made.
Heads, I win.
The winner of the coin toss selects their color ball, obviously 2 choices, red or green, and throws the palina out first. They will also, after the palina is thrown out first, throw their first large colored bocce ball. It's now time for the opponent to throw their ball. Because remember, the object of the game is to get the closest to the palina. Once the first large bocce ball is thrown, after the palina is thrown, the opposing team comes out like Jan just did, throws her bocce ball and attempts to get closer. She continues to throw until she's closer. In this first frame, we'll notice Carol threw the palina out first and the red large bocce ball. Jan threw second, the green ball, and as we can see, is closest to the palina. Now, Carol has an opportunity to throw her second, third, or fourth ball, whatever it takes to try to get closer than Jan is to the palina. Now in the same frame, we have Carol throwing her second ball because she was further away. Jan was closest on her first throw of the green ball. Now the red ball has thrown their second ball, but has not gotten closer than the green ball. So now she goes on to throw her third ball, again in an attempt to be closer. And indeed, she has gotten closer, which will pass the throw to the green team. We ask only the active throwing player is on the court. Jan's just come on the court, is throwing her green ball, her second green ball. Got close, but not closer than Carol's red ball. I'll note that we do have measuring devices, both strings and calipers, to determine when it's very close who is closer. Here's Jan throwing her third ball. She's attempting to hit Carol's ball out of the way or get closer. Still not close enough. Jan can throw her fourth ball in an attempt to be closest. After all the balls of the green team and the red team have been exhausted, we'll do the scoring and we'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Now, after all 4 of the green team's balls have exhausted, Carol has the opportunity with her last red ball to try to add 1 more point by getting closest to the palina, which she already is, But if she was the second closest, she'd pick up a second point. We'll describe that a little further when we talk about scoring. It's now time to determine the score of this particular frame. An important point is only one team can score at a time. They can score from 1 to 4 points. To determine who's closest, we have two methods. One, our calipers. Two, a simple string. Here I'm using the calipers to determine the distance from the edge of the red ball to the edge of the polina. As we can see, the red ball is closer. In some cases it's easier for some or more difficult to use the string. It's your choice. Of course, if we use the string, I would go to the center of the polina to the edge of the red ball. And as we can see again, of course, and visually we can see the red ball is closer than the green ball. You don't always have to use the measuring devices if it is obvious, as in this case. Now we've determined that the very closest ball, we know red's going to get at least 1 point by being closest, but do they get a second point? The answer is no, because the second closest ball is the green ball. Let me give you another example. The question would be, how would red get 2 points? Let me realign the balls and show you. If these two red balls were closest to the polina, and the green ball was the third closest, red would get 2 points. We're now looking at our scoreboard. As you can notice on the left-hand side, where Mike's hand is the red team scoring. Opposite to the right is the green team scoring. If you remember, after our last frame, the score was 1 point red, and green, of course, doesn't get any points because only one team can score per frame. And the score was 1-0. Mike, I'll ask you. Mike's pointing to where the little lure is showing 1 point. So on the scoreboard, we see the score of 1 red, green 0. Please note that our games are generally played to 12, and at times with teams of 4 on each team, we play to 16. Through the course of play, our courts get some lumps and bumps in them. So we ask all members after you've completed your game to please grab one of the rakes and with the teeth side down, just give a gentle raking of the courts. I hope you found this video helpful, getting to understand the game of bocce a little bit. Remember, all Isles Yacht Club members are welcome. Everyone can play, anyone can play. It's a game you can compete at very quickly. It's fun, it's easy. Come on out, enjoy rolling the ball with us.